we know that this was, this was a national movement. People were beginning to wake up in the context of the civil rights movement, anti-war movement, the Black Power movement. Prisoners were suddenly becoming, were reflecting those movements, right? And they began to look at themselves, and they were the least powerful group in the entire country.
Yeah.
You understand? Because they were slaves.
Yeah, that's right.
They're just they were locked down. They had no power, no political power, no voice, no nothing. And so they began to establish the voice of prisoners, right? And Attica was the culmination of that. You understand? And when the state finally went in and crushed it.
Yeah.
You understand?
In a brutal, brutal way. I mean,
they killed their own.
Yeah, they killed their own. That's right.
They killed their own.
3,000 shots.
Yes.
I mean, that's insane. First, they dropped tear gas. The helicopters are dropping tear gas into the yard, and then all you hear is a barrage of bullets. Hopefully, we'll be able to listen to some of that because I think it's important for the men and women who are in prison to see that. I'll tell you, I was in Woodburn. The first time I saw it, I want to say it was around 1997, 98. The first time I sat into a class, and I think it was part of the non-traditional approach, part of the Conciencia study group, and we had Keep Your Eyes on the Prize, where it shows that massacre, it shows the yard, and when I literally sat there and my eyes were like tearing up because I understood, I already had a connection being part of the study group. I had a connection to the past, and I was saying, I knew about it by reading about it, but to see it, to physically see this massacre, taking place, although albeit it was, 30 some odd years later, it was really impactful.
I watched it on TV too.
So where were you when? Because you moved out of Attica. Where were you when it actually happened?
I was moved to Green Haven prison.
Right? Also, you went to Green Haven, right?
And 5 days later,
the news came.
Yeah, the news came, and it was on national TV.
Yeah.
So we could watch it in the yard, right? And some of the prisoners were still playing basketball, man. I had to go grab the basketball and throw it over the wall.
I believe you guys. I was with you. I know how you get down.
I had to throw the basketball. I said, that's you.
That's right.
You understand? Up there on that screen, that's you, man. And sit down and watch this, man. You understand? And I watched the riot unfold on the rebellion. And
the media spin.
Yes.
Because remember, originally, the original reports was like, it was blamed, the murders were blamed on the men that were in prison.
Yes.
They killed the hostages.
Yes.
They tried to spin it that way. And later on, we wind up finding out that every single one of them was shot. And the people in prison didn't have no guns.
No.
So you were in Green Haven. You were watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And what was that? What was that like for you? Like, what was going through your mind?
Well, I mean, it's unfortunately, I wasn't in that yard because I would have been dead.
Yeah, you probably would, because they targeted people afterwards. So this is another thing that they shot all the barrage of bullets, but then even after everyone surrendered and gave up, they were stripped down and walked like a gauntlet, back to back. People were laid out in certain places. Big Black was laid out naked to hold a football under his, and he was tortured. And then there were people that were marking X's on the men because they wanted to make sure they assassinated certain leaders. So I believe you if you were part of that organization.
Well, Liz Fink, who was the attorney for the Attica lawsuit, she told me that when they came in there, they were looking for me. And somebody had told them that I was moved out to a jail. And so they didn't know at the time that I had left. But they were looking for me when they came in there, right? So Big Black, that was my best friend.
Talk about Big Black because I'm gonna try to maybe get his voice on.
Big Black was totally apolitical, but that event brought the politics out of him. Roger Champion, he was one of our teachers. He was the legal beaver. And when we would hold the classes in the yard on Sundays, Roger Champion would be there.